Why TBC? What's the deal? So I was just looking on SkySports.com and I seen that David Haye has got with Shane McGuigan and he is going to be trained by him and he's going to come back, and he's going to make a comeback. I haven't seen this dude since 2012 when he stopped Derek Chisora. He looked pretty decent in that fight. He looked a lot better than he did in the fight previous to that fight when he fought Vladimir Klitschko and got pretty much outboxed. Um, Both guys didn't fight a terrific fight. You would have liked to see Vlad press the issue a little bit more in that fight, but he definitely won the fight. Hey, after the fight, infamous for blaming his big toe, or was it his pinky toes? One of his toes that he blamed on the, for his performance. But rather than that situation, I like David Haye. People forget, man, that he was a pretty good cruiserweight. He had the WBO, the WBC, and WBA, and he had the Ring Magazine title at one point, beating John Mormek and Macronelli. I thought those were two good wins. The Mormek fight is a very entertaining fight. That was you probably could say was even going into the seventh, and Hay was able to catch Mormek with a good right hand and dropped him. That was an entertaining fight in the Macronelli blitz. I remember that fight was on Showtime. He blitzed him. I thought that was a good fight, but some people don't give him credit for what he did at cruiserweight. At cruiserweight, around that 2007, 2006, 8, around that time, there was some fights I did want to see him fight in. I would have loved to see him fight Breakway or O'Neal Bell. James Toney was a guy I wish could have got down to cruiserweight. I would have loved to see him fight James Toney. But it seemed like those guys kind of missed each other. But he did fight Mormek and Macronelli. At heavyweight, he's fought Chisora, Monty Barrett, uh, Nikolai Valuev, and he fought Ali Harrison and John Ruiz. He usually comes in between, 210 pounds, 217 pounds. The Ruiz fight was as heavy as he came in at 222. Was able to knock Ruiz down a few times in that fight. Besides Ruiz, being steamrolled by David too, it was pretty hard to put Ruiz down. So I thought that was decent wins. What I do know is he won't be scared to get in there with some of these big guys. I mean, being in there with Valuev and Vladimir Klitschko, we know that Valuev, the big giant, the big giant that used to fight, he was over 7 feet tall. So I don't think Hayes going to be scared to get in there and mix it up with any of these guys. I keep seeing names getting thrown around for possible opponents: Erkin Tepper, Brian Jennings. And a lot of these guys have fights coming up. I know Erkin Tepper is getting ready to fight Robert Helenius. That isn't a gimme fight. It's going to be, I think it's a close fight. Helenius hasn't been as active as you would like to see him, but he's still undefeated, and Tepper's undefeated. I got Tepper winning that fight, but I like to see Hay in there with any of these guys. Brian Jennings is another guy, but he has a fight coming up with Luis Ortiz. And there's a possibility Jennings could get knocked out in that fight, although I do favor Jennings. But I'm not confident in that pick. But I'm favoring Jennings in that fight against Ortiz, but I'm not very confident in it. Just by looking at Luis Ortiz's power. He's like I don't know, and he can box too, man. He comes from that Cuban school of boxing, so he knows how to box. And he has good power, and he's a southpaw, and he's well seasoned. But we'll see in that fight. But so I seen David Haye when he fought Chisora in 2012. Then in 2013, I seen a video here on YouTube of him sparring. I know it was Marius Watch was at the session, Deontay Wilder, and I believe Kurat Pulov was the other guy. There was a few guys at a training session with Haye, and it was kind of like a highlight reel type of video. It wasn't a full video of the session. And from the highlights, he looked very quick. He looked like he had some power. He buzzed Wilder a few times in that clip I seen with two good right hands that buzzed Wilder when they were sparring. Wilder, a few scenes in the clips that I saw, he had Haye against the ropes, and there was a right hand looked like it backed Haye up when they were sparring. Just from the clips, man, that would be an exciting fight. I know Hayes coming back. He's not coming back to fight a guy in the top 50. I think he's coming back to fight a guy that's meaningful. I think he's going to wait and see. I don't know if he's going to get with Hearn. I don't know if he's trying to get with Heyman. I don't know what he's trying to do, but I believe that he's going to wait and see what happens with Fury and Vladimir. So I think if Fury wins, I see David Haye trying to push for that title shot. I know a lot of people say, hey, he doesn't deserve it. How can he just come out of nowhere? I mean, the guy did have a WBA strap at one point. He did beat, Nikolai Valuev for the title. Do got to give him credit for it. If we give Bermane Stiverne credit for being the WBC champion at one point and Deontay Wilder for being the WBC champion, then you have to give Haye his just due for winning the WBA strap. I mean, he did win the strap. Doesn't mean he was the heavyweight champion, but he did win a strap. So I see him taking advantage of that. I could see Fury. If Fury beats Vladimir, I would like to see the division get unified, fight Wilder. But if he didn't fight Wilder, Fury versus Haye, in the UK, that'd be huge. That'd be a huge fight. Who knows? Maybe Fury makes more money fighting Haye if he was to beat Vladimir. But I think Haye wants to see what happens with that situation. If Vladimir wins, I don't see Haye rushing for a rematch with Vladimir. I just don't see him, trying to get a rematch 4 years later. I mean, it would be 4 years later, but But if Vladimir wins, I see David Haye saying, fuck it, man, I'm going to go to the U.S. I think he'll come over here and try to get a shot with Wilder, just based on, I mean, they can hype the fight up, man. Both these guys can, make for good hype, man. They can hype this fight up. Haye, he talks a lot of shit. Wilder talks a lot of shit. Haye will get into you with it. He'll go fist to cuffs at press conferences. We seen him do it. Situations with Chisora and, another guy, that I'm seeing as a possible opponent, Tony Bello, I seen has called him out. That'll make for a good, build up for the fight. But I think Bello, he was calling him out at a catchweight. I think Bello gets knocked out. Yes, he did make for an entertaining fight against Stevenson, Adonis Stevenson. He did land some good shots and was backing Stevenson up a little bit. But if he thought he got knocked out against Stevenson, I think he'll get crushed against David Haye, even at a catchweight. Then the build-up he had with Nathan Cleverly. He'll make for a good build-up, and he will come to fight, but I wouldn't want to see Haye fight him, Malik Scott, another guy, so there's guys out there for him to fight. Maybe a guy like Bermane Stiverne. Stiverne just came off of beating who did he beat? Derek Rossi. So, maybe Stiverne was really out of shape going into that. He was 15 pounds heavier than he was at the top of the year when he fought Deontay Wilder. He came into the Rossi fight 15 pounds, came in at 254, weighed 239 against Wilder. So maybe you can get Stiverne. I know Stiverne to come forward. He's there, to be hit, but he will hit back. Haye's a good boxer, in my opinion. I think he can compete with these guys, although he is 35, but, like I said, in today's era, it seems like all these guys are in their 30s or even in their 40s. Tarver, Vlad, Povetkin, Washington, Brazil, Cunningham, Mansour, Jennings. All these guys are in their 30s. Wilder's, and so you do have exception guys like Joshua and some of the other younger guys like White and Joseph Parker and Trevor Bryant. You got some younger guys, but mainly all these guys, man, all the top guys are in their 30s, so I don't know, man. What y'all think about David Haye coming back? I think it'll do the heavyweight division some justice, spice it up a little bit. Haye is very popular, man, especially over in the UK. We know that he's very popular. Him and Vladimir did, 45,000, sold it out. Him and Chisora did 30,000, sold it out. Even him and Ollie Harrison sold it out, did 20,000. All those venues were sold out. He's very popular. I like to see him back, man. I really would like to see this dude back. So hopefully, he just doesn't have an itch. Because a lot of guys sometimes they'll get the itch like they want to come back and they'll get in the gym and train, and then at about week 7 of training, it's like their body might give out, or even earlier than that, maybe week 3. But he's been out. He had the surgery in 2013, but also in 2013, from the sparring footage that he had late that year, he looked good when he was sparring guys like Marius Watch and Deontay Wilder. But that was 2013, man. He hasn't fought since 2012, so it's going in. It's the bottom half of this year, and it's going into 2016. So we're going on 4 calendar years since we last saw this guy. But he definitely has the charisma, speed, power, movement. Maybe he want to get some redemption too, man, because although he's 26 wins and 2 losses with 24 knockouts, a lot of people are looking at that Vladimir Klitschko situation, man, when your biggest moment, then you want to blame your toe. I forgot which toe it was, your big toe, your pinky toe. I think that Haye wants some redemption from that. Although he did fight after that fight and he beat Derek Chisora in a good fight. And Haye does a good job of fighting off his back foot, man. He can wing power shots, really hooks when you fight off his back foot. That's impressive to me. I don't think he's going to be able to walk these guys, these big dudes down. I just don't think he's going to be able to walk all these guys down and try to overpower them. Some of the bigger guys. Maybe a fight like Brian Jennings may be different for him, but or a guy like Malik Scott, because of Scott's style, may be different for him. But he can fight off his back foot and throw some good power shots and good technique. And he's slippery, man. I like David Haye. Good footwork. He's not a perfect fighter, but what y'all think about this? David Haye back at the in the heavyweight division. YTBC, I'm out.